Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Help with Natalie Cuomo. I'm here with the fabulous comedian, Chanel Omari. How are you, Chanel?
Good. How are you? Thank you for having me. What an honor to be on your podcast. An honor.
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to gas you up right now because first of all, I love your podcast. Totally my favorite podcast out there. So if anybody's out there listening, this is one of my favorite podcasts. I feel like you've helped me. You know, we're friends in real life, but I feel like every time I listen to you, every day I get a little bit of help and Natalie Cuomo. So this is just it really is an honor for a comedian, especially because, you know, as comedians, you want to be on platforms that you could share your comedy or your mental health. And I feel like this is such a good platform. So thank you for having me.
Oh my God. Thank you for doing it. Well, I had so much fun being on your podcast.
Yes. Chanel in the City, which, oh my God, it's coming out real soon. So tune into that. You could follow at Chanel in the City podcast, which should be out in 2 weeks.
So that's exciting.
It's exciting. It was a great podcast. You gave me a lot of help on that podcast.
Yay.
You made me realize a lot of shit. Even though it's supposed to be about you, somehow it turned into me. I was like, shit, it's supposed to be about Natalie. But that's what an amazing person you are, is that like you're such a giver.
Aww.
That it's like the bigger picture with you. You know, you're like, my friend needs help right now and I need to be there for her.
You're so sweet. Well, Chanel, you have an awesome story. So you were on the show on Bravo, Princesses of Long Island.
Yes.
So that's a reality TV show. Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, so it was about 6 Jewish girls who moved back home after college to live with their parents because they've come from privileged backgrounds, including myself, and we thought we had it all figured out. And so Bravo was looking for like this mini housewives on Long Island. They knew about the culture. At the time, that people didn't know I was a producer. So I produced for like Anderson Cooper, Maury Povich, Katie Couric, and I was doing casting with Bravo, and they were like, listen, you know, I know you're on Long Island. You talk about all these crazy stories with your friends, you know, going to the Hamptons, partying. And they're like, we really want to tap into that, you know, the boomerang generation where like you guys don't have it all together and you're kind of like living vicariously through these parties. So I was casted first. Everyone was like, oh, you should talk to Chanel. She's a mover and shaker on Long Island. She has actually her real friends. They have like history. So they were looking for people who actually had drama and history within their friend group. And my friend group was very lucky enough to be chosen because we all have had history for years. We've all went to high school together. We've been best friends for years. And so that's how I got to do the show for Bravo.
What did you learn from doing reality TV? Like what was that? What was the biggest lesson that you learned?
Biggest lesson I learned was, oh my God, can I say 2?
Of course.
Okay. First biggest lesson I learned was always, it's okay to know who you are and stand alone, or stick to your conviction if you know you're right about something instead of having validation from the world, because you're never going to please everyone. You know, that's what I realized. Like, I was always such a people pleaser my entire life, and I love to give, right? It makes me feel really happy. I think a lot of comedians, we love to give, we love to entertain. And I think because of that, I realized, oh my God, I have to have everybody like me. I have to have everybody approve of me. And then when I got on reality TV and I realized, oh my God, I try to do the best I can and I still can't please the world, I have to really find the confidence to stand on my own and not care. So that was accepting myself for all of me, my bad, my flaws, and also realizing that I'm not perfect and I could be a better person. I could have been, at the time I thought I was a great person, but reality TV makes you, reflect yourself in a mirror and makes you realize that like, you're not all that, you ain't shit, and you gotta like be better and have more humility. And so that's how I became more aware.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you could do it all over again, would you?
Yes, 150%.
So it was fun.
It was fun. I loved every minute of it. I tell everyone, do a reality TV show, whether you're a comedian or an actor. Do not think you're above it. It will be the best experience of your life. I think anybody should do it. I think it's therapeutic. I think even if you go through obstacles on it, and it's like for instance, my boyfriend at the time broke up with me on national TV. It was the worst moment, but later on you realize, oh my God, it makes you stronger. It makes you overcome fears. It makes you face yourself, so, and it's fun.
Do you think it's for everyone though? I think a lot of people couldn't deal with that. I think a lot of people don't like.
You're right.
Do you think it's for everyone?
No, I don't. I don't think it's for everyone. I think you have to have a thick skin. I also think you have to have like a sense of humor about it and laugh at yourself about it, because people are going to say the craziest things. Like, people will call, the things people would say about me, like, she's not really a woman, she's a man, she's a transgender. By the way, compliments all around, right? Like, kudos to the LGBTQ community. But when you've never been faced with that scrutiny and now all of a sudden you're exposed to the whole world, it's tough. So yeah, you're right. It's not for everybody.
So I feel like a lot of the conversations that you and I have as friends, I don't think that you understand your worth.
Yes.
I think that you are very beautiful, very funny, and as my friend, I don't think you understand your worth. Do you think that comes from, oh no, no,
I'm crying.
No.
I'm trying to hold back the tears because that's so beautiful.
Oh no. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's happy tears.
Because
you're right.
What do you feel? What do you feel that reality TV played a part in that, or do you feel that's just life, or what do you know?
By the way, I'm on a lot of hormones right now. I'm not trying to get pregnant. I'm on birth control. See, I have to make some joke. It's also I'm crying because we are close.
No,
and like,
I love
know
you.
Me,
I love you.
I love you too, and it's important. Yes, I think childhood did it. I think growing up on Long Island, as much as I am so grateful for growing up on Long Island and, I had a good life, I felt like I had to keep up with the Joneses a lot because my parents didn't have a lot of money and, they were just trying to give us a good life. And, they were mean girls and boys that would say to me, and also I grew up with a lot of white people, right? So I'm a minority. I'm an Israeli Colombian Jew. And so a lot of the ethnic stuff was like weird to my friends, or they didn't understand my background, right? Or they didn't understand like growing up with Hebrew and Spanish in the house. So I think I started losing my self-worth when people would tell me like, you're not this, or you're not good enough, or you can't play with us, or you can't hang out with us, you're not pretty enough. It was always like, you're not pretty enough, you're not the standard. And I never understood why. I was like, oh, maybe it's my nose. It's not, I get it. It's not a perfect nose. It's not a small nose. Or so there was just features that I wasn't like confident about myself because of how kids would make fun of me and bully me in school. And then reality TV was super hard because I had to please the producers. I had to please the public. When people take you apart and tell you you're so this, or you're ugly, or you're not good enough to be on TV, or you're not good enough to be with that guy, or and men. A lot of men, and I hate saying this or being that feminist or woman to say like I hate men or I blame men, but a lot of men in my life have made me feel really worthless or not good enough or not pretty enough, And so I feel like I played into that mode, mole or whatever, and I just became that. I became you're right, I'm a nerd. I'm the ugly duckling that is the funny girl that no one pays attention to, that has to scream for attention, and I started it started affecting my mental health. And you're right. I don't see my worth like you would see. Sometimes when you say this stuff to me, I get surprised, because if I were, I feel like more people would say it, right? Because you feel like you are what sometimes you feel like you are what people think you are.
Or you're a reflection of the people that you choose to be around too.
And that you respect, right? Like you look up to some people and you're like, wow, they don't really like me, or they don't think of me as pretty or cool. So what am I doing wrong, and what do I have to do to get there? I always felt like I had to bring value to be accepted, to be wanted. And sometimes I don't, I feel like people could be really mean out there.
I totally understand. I think it is. It can be a very difficult world. And I also definitely grew up being bullied, and I've dealt with cyberbullying as well as an adult and as a kid. I think it's hard not to like my therapist always says, like, you feel like a reflection of the people that you're around. But I think the thing is you forget that you have a choice about who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
And I think that you can play more of a role in that choice than you think that you can.
I know. And when you told me that, it was so powerful. And I feel like I was walking down the street and you're my alter ego. What would Natalie Cuomo do? I swear it's the best medicine and situation, because it's actually like a healthy alter ego. It's not, because you're so rational. Like you're probably
that's what I'm talking to you for some reason.
You're one of the most rational friends I have. I'm sorry, like in the industry, hands down, like smartest, funniest, like coolest. And I feel like you just take a situation, you're like, okay, let's analyze it, but let's do it in a healthy way. Let's not get crazy. Let's not get paranoid. And when you said to me, Chanel, you have a choice. And I never, no one's ever broke it down to me like that. I'm like, she's right. I do surround myself with a lot of shitty people. I do surround myself with people that don't like me. Why? Like, when I could be surrounding myself more with you and other people who do like me and say these things. I mean, I just don't know where it comes from though, in general, why people just just decide not to like you? It's a stupid question. You know what I mean? Like, what do you, I mean,
Well,
what do
you
feel like
feel
that?
I understand like feeling rejected by people, or you don't go into a relationship like, I'm going to be friends with this person because they don't like me. But you start out a relationship and then you're like, oh, all of a sudden I feel excluded by this person. But it's not your fault that they turned out that way. And so it just happens that you become hurt by people over time and you start to take it personally, but it's not about you. Right. And like the way other people act has nothing to do with you. So it's like, when you learn to stop paying attention to those other people, it's so hard because Long Island, New York, it is like a brutal social scene.
It is. And you know everyone and everyone knows you. And even like I said to you, that the biggest lesson from reality TV was really knowing myself, sticking to me or to people that I like and that like me. Still, sometimes, as you see, I struggle because it's my heart that wants to be kind. So I always try to, I feel like I need to rise above things. I have like that Jewish guilt, like, are they right? Maybe can I be nicer? Can I be better? What can I do to be better? But then you get to a point where you try to be so good. Where are the limitations? Like you said, when are you going to be kind to yourself and walk away from people who are shitty to you? Right? Like, it's so hard.
You don't need the approval of people that aren't kind to you. You don't need the approval. Like you know what I used to feel like all the time? I used to be like, why do I want these people to like me that I don't even fucking like?
Right. Yes.
It's like, if you think about these people, you're like, dude, do you even like them? Like, no, they're shitty people. They make you feel like shit. And I used to think, like, I remember trying to make a joke about this years ago, but it was like, why do I care so much if this girl likes me when I don't even fucking like her? And it's like, you spend so long chasing the approval of people that don't even make you feel good. So it's just a twisted mindset that you get yourself into, and you have to stop like thinking about other people and start giving that to yourself. And that kind of gratitude, that kind of like fulfillment you feel when you do something for someone else, you need to start feeling when you do something for yourself.
Yeah. And I agree. That first step is definitely 100% walking away from those who are either trying to sabotage you or mean to you or don't make you feel good. You know, when you're around a person, they don't say anything. They just make you feel shitty.
I know.
And then your therapist is like, but no one can make you feel things. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Can we curse? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, of course people can make you feel things. How many times have we sat literally in a room together and we're like, the energy's off?
Right.
I mean, you're not making it up, right? Like, there has to be something where, and so I think that's what you're right. We have to leave it in people's hands where that's your projection. That's on you. I'm trying to be nice as best as I can. And if you don't want to be nice to me, that's on you.
Yeah.
You know?
What people think of me is not my business.
I love that. That's so true.
Yeah.
That's so true.
It's hard to remember. What do you think you talk about the most in your comedy?
I think I talk about being single a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And being the princess thing is a big part, right? Like transitioning from a reality star to just a regular civilian, and also, yeah, being single, because I feel like, and here's the thing, I'm self-deprecating about being single, not because I don't think I'm pretty or I can get a guy. It's almost like even the hot girls or the pretty girls out there are having a hard time because that's how hard it is with these men. It's almost like they keep upping the ante, the uglier they get too. I'm sorry to say, but like physically, they're like, oh, you're not a model? You haven't done Bazaar or whatever, Harper's Bazaar? I'm like, no, bitch, I probably can't even get on People magazine. But you know what I'm saying? Like, that's where I'm like, I self-deprecate, where I'm like, I'm so single. I'm so desperate in a way because I need him like a real man.
What do you look for in a man?
What do I look for? Kindness, driven, motivated. I guess the same thing. Gives back, smart, funny, cool, rational.
How important would you say attractiveness is?
Like physically?
Physically.
Or mentally and emotionally?
A physical attractiveness, how important would you say?
It's not as important to me as the emotional and mental, because I have gone for guys. They're good looking or they're not as good looking. Like, you might not think they're good looking, but I get to know them and I'm attracted to them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I date 50 and 60-year-olds and I slowly die with them and I'm attracted to them, but some people might not be attracted to them.
You need to go for your age.
Do you think?
I think you need to go for your age.
But men my age don't like me. That's the problem. Men my age also go for younger.
No. That's the wrong
mentality.
No, that's the wrong men. I feel like the right men your age are looking for people their age.
Interesting.
Like, I think the men that are your age that are looking to date 10 years younger, those are not the right men. The thing, if I, like my male friends that are like in their 30s or in their 40s or even in their 50s, when I say like, who are you dating? And they say someone age appropriate, I go, good for you. That's good. That's good. You want, like, they should be dating someone age appropriate. And if they're dating two down, you go, ugh. It's not good. It's not a good look for them. And listen, I've been the girl that they're dating. That's not good.
And why do you think? That's what I've been always interested. Why is it not a good look?
Because it's clearly superficial. Mm-hmm. I mean, there are obviously instances where it's not. There are obviously instances like where you do fall in love with an age gap. I think there obviously are points where it's like, yes, there's a crazy age gap and you do fall in love. But I think when someone is specifically seeking out someone that's like 10 years younger than them, it's for a superficial reason. And they're kind of like wearing that girl as arm candy or to prove a point, to stay young, it's like a watch. It's like, look, I got an expensive watch. It's like, I'm rich and I'm attractive and I'm still young and I could get this girl that was this much younger, as opposed to, no, I'm looking to settle down and start a family with someone who's my age appropriate and has a good job. And it says something different about the person, in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah, you're right. I guess because I feel like you're so mature and you're such a package deal for your age that, like, I feel like if an older guy had you, it wouldn't be just, right? It wouldn't be just arm candy, but I get where you're saying for the majority, right? For the majority cliche of...
I feel like, okay, all my exes are 10 years older than me, but...
It's not bad,
They
right?
didn't work out.
Right, that's your point. Okay. You're like, bitch, are you kidding me right now? Like, okay, so that's your point.
And
that, like,
they just, I could tell that, like, they're in, like now looking back, like when I was 17... or 18, I dated this 28-year-old.
That's so cool.
And I thought it was so cool.
That's so fucking
I was like,
cool.
oh my God, I'm so cool. He's 28. Now looking back, I'm 27. If my 27-year-old friend was dating an 18-year-old, I would be like, are you okay? Like, this is not okay.
Well, speaking of...
Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
That's going to be like the like, whoa. Of
like,
the
you're actually putting yourself right in his shoes or in their shoes.
If you flip it around, like when I was in high school and dating this guy, I was like, oh my God, I am going to this 28-year-old's house in Brooklyn. And then if I flip it, I am that guy's age right now. I'm like, whoa,
like,
that
if
was
you were
weird
going with
of
an
that
18,
dude.
Imagine you were meeting, right, an 18-year-old guy. Me and you went to meet a guy that you met that's 18 and his friends. You're right.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking like I met his friends. I met his friends. Like I met his friends. Like if his friends must have been like, what the fuck is going on here? Why are you hanging out with this 18-year-old chick? I mean, I couldn't even get into the bars with them. I had to sneak in because I was 18.
So even though you're legal of age, it doesn't mean it's age appropriate.
It's fucking
what you're
weird,
saying, it's
dude.
weird, and it is. See, I don't see it because I was like you. I was like, oh, hanging out with the older people is the coolest
like, that's so cool.
shit.
I'm a bad girl.
Yeah,
That's but no. That's fucking like when you flip it and look at it from his perspective. It's like, this is a little weird. Like, shouldn't he be dating like a hot 25-year-old?
Right, like more age appropriate.
Yeah,
and it's funny because we were talking about this off record about how I told you also part of my set lately is like dating an older guy who leaves you for a younger woman. And when you would say to me, Chanel, is it you think things like that is going to last? That should make you feel better of like, who cares if that person's with a person who's not age appropriate with them? They should date, but you should focus on yourself and date someone who's around your age so you can have a healthy thing. Like this one guy recently, he is 38. I'm 37, and you're right. I realized why he was so persistent with me too. I'm like, why is this guy so persistent? I've never had a guy this persistent to just go on dates, you know? Like it was nice again. And now that you're bringing that up, it makes sense. He's probably looking to settle down. He's over the games. He knows that I'm young enough or around his age enough to get along, to share a life or whatnot. And I have to be more open to that.
37, that age, I do feel is when people are going, all right, I do feel that there are people that go, okay, let's go. I want to get married. I want to have kids. Let's go. And I do feel like, I don't know. Are you the type that when someone shows interest, you get creeped out?
No, I feel like sometimes, yeah, maybe. I'm learning so much about myself now. I'm like, wait, yes and no. And then I flip it. Like I'm so mentally ill that I will
seeing this.
obsess about someone who will give me attention. Then when they back off a little, I'll become obsessed with them because I'm like, oh, maybe I was mean to them. Maybe I wasn't. Or maybe I took them for granted.
Can I tell you, my therapist said this, and I feel like I've gotten over this, but when you feel down about yourself, and you don't like yourself, and someone likes you, you are like, you don't like them because they like you, and you're like, I don't want to be part of a club that has me as a member.
Yes, that's so
true. When someone likes you, but you don't like you, you're like, ew, what's wrong with you that you like me? And I feel like I used to do that a lot. And I used to definitely go for guys that didn't like me because if they did, what the fuck is wrong with you that you like me?
That makes so much sense. That's what I've been feeling.
So you kind of have to get to a point where if someone's persistent and wants to take you out, you're like, yeah, that's a good sign and not like a weird thing. It's like, of course you would want to take me out. I'm great. Yes, this is good.
Right. And I guess you're right. I guess I got so immune or stuck to the fact that all these guys that I was dating, that was my mentality. I went for guys that didn't like me because I didn't like myself. And I was like, that makes more sense. Instead of going for the guys that like me, why do they like me? I'm so shitty. I'm this, I'm that, because of what all these guys would say to me.
Yeah.
And I guess whether it was to keep me or use me, they would still say mean stuff. And to me, I don't understand why people have to even say mean things. Like, I guess hurt people hurt people.
Hurt people.
Because to me, I don't understand how is that conducive to anybody to just say something mean to someone? I don't know. To me, that's just not productive. So I think I really internalized a lot. And that's what helped when you're like, why don't you see your self-worth the way I do? I think that's why. And also I should be answering those dates and saying, yes, I will go on a date with you. You are being persistent. You know what? I will get a drink with you.
Yeah, I feel like when you start to see your value, then other people also start to see it too. And you're like, you know what? I'm fucking awesome. They're like, wait, she says she's awesome? Like, maybe she's onto something there.
Right.
Like, people, like, you just have to be like, yeah, I'm hot. And they're like, oh, wait, really?
But have you ever gone to the point where you did do that? I did have a phase like that. And then I feel like people try to knock me down.
Of course they will.
Okay. So that's where you can't.
That's where you have to stay stronger. Of course, the second that you are confident is when people are going to try and knock you down. They don't want to see a confident person.
And that's where I have to play the game where I'm like, oh, I know what you're doing, but I'm still not going to let you get through to me anyway or make me feel bad. And that's the difference. In the past, I'd be like, oh, yeah, you knocked my walls down. Now you made me feel bad. I should feel shitty about myself. You're right. I remember when you were like, Chanel, why? You're funny. You're funny on stage. I see you make people laugh. Why are you always dimming your light every time you come into a room? And it's like, because there's so many other comedians, like, it's okay to be like, yeah, I was great, or yes, I crushed. And I felt like I took your advice, and I did that the other day. It was a male comic that always had put me down. He's like, yeah, how was your set? And I was like, I crushed.
Yes.
I crushed. And I had you in my mind saying it. I was like, I crushed and I'm not going to back down. And he tried to make me back down. I was like, listen, if you have nothing nice to say, please don't say it at all. Right now, I'm going to actually walk away from you. And I smiled.
Good.
And I was like, and I didn't freak out. And I was like, you have your opinion and I have mine. I'm not going to stop comedy because you don't like my sets. Like, it's just, and I think I crushed, and there's proof in the pudding with the tape. And that's all that matters. Instead of like crying and being like, but he said, it's like, who the fuck is he?
I also learned to, unless it's someone that I trust and it's like a good friend, that when I walk off stage and I'm not happy with my set, if someone goes, how was your set? I will never be like, I really won't tell someone that I bombed.
Yeah.
Because I'll be like, oh, it's good. Because I'm just not giving that power to anyone anymore, unless it's like I go home, it's my best friend, I'm like, I ate shit tonight, or it's days later, like, oh my god, I ate shit last week. That's fine. But if I just come off stage, I'm at the club, a comic's like, oh, how was it? I'll be like, oh, it's good, or they were okay.
That's smart.
But I will never be like, I fucking bombed, because I'm not giving that power away anymore. And you just have to hold yourself, like, why would you? Because it's just a dialogue that you're creating, and you just don't need to give that power away anymore. There's no fucking point.
You're right. And that's when, remember, and then I would always say to you, but like, I would always try to stick around to argue the argument almost. Like, remember, you were like, why are you not just walking away? Who cares? Let it go over your ear. Let it be like, okay, thank you, bye. But for some reason, I had to like argue with certain people that didn't see my value in comedy, or I had to fight for my, my respect or whatever. And I'm like, why am I doing that? Like, let him have the opinion. I'm not going to give the power anymore to be like, I bombed. And I purposely say I crushed because I know it pisses them off too. I know it bothers them when they're like, the chutzpah, how dare her say, you know, like what you said, you're like, it was good. Like, you don't have to give them...
if you eat shit, you don't have to say you crushed, but you could be like, yeah, they're okay, or they were weird, but whatever.
Good. That's honest.
Weird crowd, but it was good.
Yeah. I like that.
I used to walk off stage. I used to walk off stage and be like, ugh, blech. And it's just like, I was giving away so much power even after the set. And I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I'm a professional, and this is not, I'm a professional. If you're not a professional, that's fine. But I'm a professional, and I can handle not having a set go the way I want it to.
Yeah, exactly. No, I love that. That's very mature, you know? And I feel like also, you've been very mature in general in terms of the comedy game. With you're very you really empower female comics. Like you're like legit about it. Like there's a lot of bullshit out there. You like legit are like, yo, I got you. I fuck with you. You know, whatever you need. Like you know, even coming on this podcast is a big deal for me because it's a big platform to get across positive messages. That's all I want to do. You know, and I just think it's important. You know, it's important to have each other's back. It's important to, you're right, not give other people power. What I don't understand, and I wish people can change more is, which I don't have the tolerance for, is if I'm going to give someone a compliment, why be mean again back? That must be some deep demon where it's like, why do I have to sit here idolizing you? That's what I don't get with people sometimes. I don't know if they put you in that position where I literally feel like I have to idolize them in order to be accepted around them. And so sometimes I make the decision of like, I'd rather not kiss your ass. So I'm just going to walk in the room and just kind of play gangster and not talk to you because I don't want you to have that much power over me. I don't want to kiss your ass if I don't think you're the funniest man in the world. You know what I mean? And then you're putting me down. So I don't know how you cope with that, but I could utilize some tips for that.
The power, like you mean like with men or
any comic or industry people just being like, you're not good enough. You're not this. It's, you know, coping with not getting initially impulsively angry. Sometimes I get angry and I like say mean stuff back. Like no one ever heard of your name, or no one thinks you're funny. I don't know why you're so up your ass. Like I feel like I have to say that, or I'm compelled to say that eventually after they like tear me down. They keep tearing me down. So it's hard to cope.
I do feel like there's power in like in not showing that. And there's power in showing that you can be a dick to me and you can be nice to me. And guess what? Neither of it's going to infect me because I don't care about you and I'm focused on myself. So
there's power in that.
And like take that anger and let it fuel you to just focus more on your comedy, produce another show, write another joke, kill it on stage. Take that anger and like make it funny on stage. Personally, my anger, even my therapist says that my anger is hilarious.
Yeah,
like when I'm angry, it's very funny.
Yeah, and what did I tell you when we went to lunch? And I didn't mean to. I said I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you because you are fucking hilarious.
When I'm angry, it is very fun. I think emotions are funny.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, you kind of have to take it, and you don't give it to those people because they want that, and that's giving, like, so you have to take it and just use it.
Right.
You know, when we talked the other day, I was like really empathized with the way that you're navigating through the comedy scene because it is very difficult. People are fucking mean. People are mean, especially when, you know, it's people are mean. And so it's just hard to deal with a lot of the time. And so I just empathize with, and I empathize with the way that it's hard to develop a sense of confidence in a social scene where everyone's goal is let me knock you down so that I can lift myself up. So, oh, confident person, let me knock them down. Because it's a game. So you really have to stand your ground and remember that everyone's out for themselves. So it's not about the truth of whether you're funny or not. You have to stand your ground. Remember, you're Chanel, you're funny, you know what you're doing. And it made me think like, I didn't want to see you get brought down by people that were being mean to you just for the sake of it.
I know. And that's what I appreciate so much about you, because you took a stand. And like, I feel like because you've been through it in general in life, you knew how to like guide me through it rationally, maturely, you know, because I don't want to, you're right. I don't want to go out there yelling at everyone because that's not my character. I'm a good person. That's my real character, you know, and I shouldn't let people take that power from me. But it's fear. You know, we always go through fear. Like, if these people really don't like me and they have power in the industry, am I going to go anywhere? But no, I learned with you that you'll be okay. You'll be okay on your own if you keep focusing on yourself, you know?
I do feel like your choice in men is awful, and you need to
Help, Natalie.
You need to really, I mean, you really need to, go for nice guys that are, I think age appropriate, nice guys. There's so many guys that would be happy to, it's a whole city. I used to think no one in New York could be an eligible bachelor. I really used to think that, but I don't think it's true. I think there's definitely enough guys. It can't possibly be true.
Right.
There's so many people here.
You're right. But you're right. We have to have like the energy to want, or put the effort to want to go out there and be like, yo, I'm going to meet these people. I deserve to meet. You're right. I deserve to meet someone good or cool, and just keep meeting. I think a lot of times, because I've suffered through anxiety and depression, I get stuck in my head and I'm like, oh no, I'm not going to go out tonight. I'm going to do a spot and then come home and either write a joke and then smoke and chill and sleep, because that's what the depression and anxiety does to you, instead of putting myself out there like a normal person and say, you know what, I'll take this date. It doesn't have to be, it could also not work out, but let me go on the date,
Or like, what are 3 things that you do that make you love yourself and that make you feel good about yourself?
Well, okay. So the first thing is, I guess, getting pampered, right? Like typical basic, getting my hair done, my nails done, just feeling good about myself physically. Second thing is I do feel like comedy is something for me that makes me feel good. So if I get spots, wherever they are, if I get spots the whole week, I'm like, oh, this makes me a little happier. This is like a goal. This is being productive and bettering myself. My podcast makes me happy because it's a platform for me to just talk to people and, share stories, share my guests their advice, like even on your episode, I feel like you're going to help a lot of people. And that's what makes me happy, bringing joy back to people. Acting is something that like I haven't pursued full time, but it is something that makes me happy. Like when I go on auditions, even if I get rejected, it's just something that makes me feel good, So I guess those are the 3 things to loving. I mean, it should be more, but
no, those are good. I think the hair, the like hair salon stuff like that is good. What are 2 other things aside from work?
Oh, aside from work, that's a good thing. To loving myself.
No, to just like where you feel good. You're like, oh yeah, I feel
working out
when I
can, when I do.
One.
Working out like, or riding a bike like around the city.
Okay.
I really recommend that. That's something that when I've been so angry where I really didn't think I could control myself, I'll take a city bike and I'll literally just ride from the Upper East Side downtown, and it just makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I got my endorphins back,
Okay.
I was gonna joke and say sex, but that's
sex makes you feel good.
It makes you feel good. I mean, it's a stress reliever. With the right man, of course. And what else? Loving myself, working out, food. Like food in a healthy way, you know? Like, have you ever gone, you're like, I'm having a good day or I'm having a bad day, and I see this bakery.
Yeah.
And this bakery with French bakery. And you say, I deserve a croissant.
Yeah.
I deserve to treat myself to a nice cappuccino and a croissant, and you enjoy that to the fullest. And you're like, I'm blessed today.
Some nice latte art.
Oh, some nice latte art. A Rosetta, a heart, a diamond.
Yes, that's what you deserve.
Isn't that like the small gestures? You're just outside of New York City.
Enjoying the little things in life.
Enjoying the little things in life. That gives me pleasure. Giving back. Charity. Any charity. One thing close to my heart is City Harvest now, which you did my live comedy show, the All-Star Comedy Show. We do it once a month at the Stand. And City Harvest is part of it, where we help end hunger, and that's raising money to end hunger. But we also people can volunteer and help feed the homeless. And, they go to Whole Foods on 14th Street to pick out healthy food. Cause just cause you're homeless or you can't afford anything doesn't mean you should get shitty food, So it's all about that, like helping people and giving back. And that makes me feel really good.
See, that's what I love about you. You have to take that energy that you give towards men, giving back, put that towards, you are a very hard worker. Like put that towards your charity, put that towards that other stuff. And that's when people are going to start coming to your life that have that shared interest, that like to give the way you do, because there are people that love to give the way that you do. And that's the type of person that you should be with. That's the type of guy that should be your boyfriend, is someone that loves to give the way you do. It doesn't have to be, I saw a TikTok once and, and the girl, and listen, I don't love quoting TikToks, but the girl said, I bring so much to the table in relationships that the next guy that I date has to match what I bring.
Wow.
And it really stuck with me. I watched this months ago, and it just really stuck with me because it really resonated with me. I do bring a lot. I very much am a mom in relationships, and I know that you are too. And whether or not that's healthy, it's the way that you are.
Yeah.
So you know this about yourself, that whoever you're with, you're going to bring so much to the table. So you have to make sure that the guy that you're with is going to meet you there.
You're right. And I shouldn't be I've been so scared of it, I think, like you said, and I should not be. Like, I should embrace that. You know, I don't know what
That's who you are. So also, like, if you're volunteering, if you're doing more stuff with City Harvest, that's where you're going to meet more people with that shared interest of helping others, helping the homeless, like giving that love, as opposed to maybe finding a guy in the comedy scene where they don't necessarily have that shared passion of charity or like love for other people, and maybe they're more narcissist or self-centered. You're like looking for love in different places is probably going to be more helpful.
I agree. You're right. I should lead. The way I lead with the City Harvest for my show at the All-Star Comedy Show, and I see that's so important, I should lead with that every day. Because it is important for me to give back. And I don't do it, I don't do the comedy shows for money. I do it so we can give back to people. And if that's a great passion and I surround myself, you're right, I will attract the right guy. I think I was scared of it for a long time because I was like, do I deserve it? I think now I know I deserve it. I think in the past I was like, do I deserve a guy who's just as good as me? Or if that's even possible, you know what I mean?
And like, we all hate ourselves a little bit, but that's why there's shit like S&M in the bedroom and stuff like that. Like, there's a place for it. There's a place for it.
There's a place to get whipped.
There's a place to get whipped. There's a place to get fucking smacked and tied up.
And I love how I threaten people verbally. Like, my ex-boyfriend, I'm like, I'm literally self-cutting myself. And he's like, where's the knife? I'm like, no, I'm like emotionally self-cutting myself because I feel, but you're right. That doesn't help either. When you tell people
no, that's not good.
That does not help people come to your rescue, because sometimes they are actually more disappointing. You're like, how evil can you be or heartless can you be that I'm literally telling you I'm going through it, and you'll like leave me crying. But you're right, you have to surround yourself. That's what I'm doing from here on out. I am surrounding myself with people who love me and like me, and with men who like me and share the same ideals. You're right, I keep going for these bad boys, yet I'm talking about charity and giving back. Like, it doesn't make sense.
No,
like, it doesn't align.
Yeah, and I understand, like, and if you want someone's attention, you want them to take care of you, you have to go for someone that doesn't need you to take care of them like that. Like, they have to be
like an equal partner.
Yeah.
Like, right. That's what, and that's, if anyone's listening, let me know, because if you have anybody, I mean, I also have to ask people. I feel like just blindly going out and expecting someone to, I don't know, hit on you, because sometimes men are intimidating.
Now, did you say the best advice you've ever received yet?
Yeah, I haven't said it yet.
Okay, what is it?
Okay. The best advice, as I ramble, the best advice I've received is actually by you.
Oh my God, Chanel.
The amazing Natalie Cuomo. Best advice. Really. Even today is the best advice. So
I love you.
Should I? Okay, so a couple of things we're going to go through.
Okay, and then we have to end soon because I'm going over.
Okay. I'm so sorry, but thank you so much.
Of course.
Best advice I've learned from Natalie Cuomo is to love yourself no matter what.
It doesn't have to be advice from me.
But it is. It is. I swear to God. It's genuinely. I seriously feel like this. You have changed my life. You have made such an impact in such a positive way that I feel like it's stuck with me. Because sometimes you listen to people's advice and you're like, yeah. And then you don't listen or it doesn't stick. Yours is actually helping me change what I feel about myself. Like, loving myself, knowing my worth, knowing no matter what that I am, knowing who I am, like you really, and telling me, not to listen to what people say about me and the haters, and to keep going, because I will see the benefits at the end of the day with my hard work, with my kindness. And I think that is the best advice, to be authentically you, to stick to who you are no matter what. Like you told me, don't ever change just because somebody else is an asshole. Don't stoop to their level. Don't be the better person, the bigger person, as hard as it is. And I think that's the best advice that you've given me. Also, don't date fucked up men just because you feel bad about yourself. Like, it's okay to be alone. It's okay to get help. It's okay to talk to your friends and lean on them and ask them, what can I do to get better? I need you right now. So yeah, I think you've given me like amazing advice. You give me amazing advice all the time.
My therapist used to say that, so I I used to do this thing where I would just date anyone because I didn't want to be alone. And I think that he would say that I would do this thing where I'd be like, bad breath is better than no breath, which is false. No breath is definitely better than bad breath.
Yeah.
And yes, I like bad breath if I like the person because I'm a weirdo.
Same.
But it's true. You know, you want good breath or no breath.
Yeah, and also what the best advice you've given me was surround yourself with people who like you.
Yeah.
And stop surrounding yourself with people who say no to you and don't like you and wonder why they're saying no.
The advice I got from Sarah on my last episode was go where the love is.
Go where the love is. Go where the love is, baby. Yes. And also, in general, you know, never, I don't think that you should, you also taught me don't put yourself down in front of people. And that's one thing, actually, the last Saturday night, real quick, I went to a comedy club and I was about to put myself down. And then I thought of you. And I was like, why am I putting myself down? For who and for what?
Yeah.
To make these people happy? No.
Yeah.
And so I did it in a very nice, diplomatic way. And I didn't put myself down and I felt good about myself.
Yeah.
At least I didn't cry that night. You know, at least I didn't feel shitty.
Yeah. I used to think when I was younger that like the way of getting attention was to be hurt or to put myself down. That's like the way that you could get attention. Like if I was in pain or if I was putting myself down. And then I realized, no, you can get attention just from being fucking awesome. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to get attention from being awesome. And like, you don't need to put yourself down. You're just who you are, which is a great person. And that's how you'll get people to like love and connect with you.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. You really have changed my life. Like, I'm not even kidding. This is going to be me getting on a healthier path. Like, hopefully I could come back in the future or you come back on Chanel in the City and it's like, what's the update? Where is she now? Where are they now?
If you listen to like, this is the 47th episode of my podcast, but if you listen to the first few, it really is about like me struggling with a lot of online trolls, a lot of difficulty making female friends, which I still find to be difficult.
Yeah,
but
why do you think? Because I'm it's so weird because like you're such an awesome friend. You're such an amazing friend. That's one thing about you. Like you've literally, in the short amount of time we've known each other, you've been a good friend to me. Why do you think that is? Because it's also hard for me to make female friends. I don't know if it stems from like, but you're close with your mom, right?
I am close with my mom.
Okay, because I'm not. So maybe that's where I think it stems from.
I think that a lot of women in comedy are climbers. I think that's a problem. And I trust people too easily. So I don't read people before I like give them everything. So that's like a little bit of a problem for me. And then I was like a boyfriend girl. Like I always had a boyfriend and I never really put that energy, like growing up, I didn't put that energy into cultivating female friendships. So as I got older, I realized how important it is to do that. And so I don't have as many maybe like childhood female friends and stuff like that. And yeah, the industry where I'm also like, I'm a very hard worker. I'm always working.
You're such a hard worker.
I don't even have that. I don't have that much time to make friends outside of comedy. And then the people in comedy, it's hard to gauge the sincerity of it.
Yeah, of course. And that's 100% beautifully said because I feel the same way, which is why I think we're blessed because I feel like I found something solid and genuine with you where we're both hard workers. It's not like we don't use each other. It's almost like we're there for each other. That's what I want everyone to be in the industry, but I know no one can. But you're right. That's why it's hard for me to make female friends too.
Yeah. Let's pull a tarot card.
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm really going over the time.
I'm so sorry.
We must go quick.
Okay. We must, she says. I love this tarot card reading. Dude, you need to do like, you do Patreon?
Yes.
Okay.
Will you shuffle this and then pull a card?
Yes.
And we'll see if it encapsulates the energy of the episode.
Okay. Oh my God, this is so fucking cool. And you're so smart, by the way.
Oh my God. No, you're really scattering. It's going to be chaotic energy, Chanel.
Shit. Okay, no, did I do it?
Dropped some cards on the floor.
Shit, oh my God, guys, please.
Okay, maybe I shouldn't have pressured you to be
Please
so quick.
forgive me.
Okay, we'll take a deep breath. It's all going to be okay.
If I know how to shuffle. That's
This
the
is
problem.
right. There's no wrong way.
Okay. I don't know how to shuffle.
No, just a little, like a deck of cards.
Okay.
No fresh. No
This
fresh.
is hilarious if you're watching this right
No fresh. No fresh.
Do you see how I'm pretending to maneuver?
I mean, you already dropped half the deck on the floor, so.
Okay, wait, look, is this shuffling too?
Okay, you did
Hey,
good.
get your deck, I'd be the worst dealer in the world.
Okay.
Do I pick a card?
All right. Oh, the Five of Swords.
Oh, shit. What is that?
Wow. Okay. Greater self-knowledge, often from mistakes and hardship. Brute force, sometimes with destructive consequences. Strength through persistence versus over-ambition. Possible losses through acting purely in your own interests. Is that what we talked about?
We did pretty much talk about a lot of
Greater self-knowledge, often from mistakes and hardship. Definitely.
We did talk about that.
Brute force, sometimes with destructive consequences.
We talked about that with the reality show. I feel like, you know.
Strength through persistence versus over-ambition.
So strength, what does that mean? Exactly. Strength through persistence. That is true. I am very persistent. And that sometimes does overtake my ambition. It does, where like I put my foot in my mouth and I've lost opportunities because of that.
Possible losses through acting purely in your own interests.
Well, that is weird because usually I'm selfless, but maybe people think that I've acted in my self-interest, so that's why I lose the opportunity. But that's what we talked about, fear. I come a lot from a place of fear.
I think that you... I think maybe if you let go of what other people are thinking of you, then a lot would come into the gates.
Yes, and it would open and it wouldn't be so chaotic or a lot of consequences. I feel like, right, there's a lot of consequences lately and I'm like, not really doing that much bad to get these consequences. Okay. Because like, sometimes you feel like you're working so hard and you're like, I just worked so hard and it didn't even go as I would like it to.
Sometimes it's you just put a lot of energy and you feel like there should be more coming from it.
Yeah.
So maybe it's like you need to concentrate your energy differently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, focus on getting better, being a better person. Just being around Natalie Cuomo a lot is really what I need to do, honestly.
Chanel.
I'm going to like stalk her. She's going to be like, Chanel, I'm headlining in fucking Florida. I cannot talk to you right now.
I love you. Chanel, where can people find you?
I love you. You guys can find me at Chanel Omari, at Chanel in the City podcast, and at the All-Star Comedy Show. We got pictures that are out and videos. Natalie Cuomo was on the June 14th show. She freaking rocked it. Everyone was obsessed with you, by the way. After the show, they're like, can I have that really pretty funny girl's number? I'm like, no, you cannot. I just got that pretty funny girl's number. She does not get, but they were loving you. You were so good. Your jokes are so fucking funny and relatable. It's insane.
Oh, thank you.
And the timing. And you could check out another show. We have July 12th. You could go on the standnyc.com for tickets and use the promo code $10 off for Chanel in the City. But it's a great time. You had a great time, right?
Yeah,
it's awesome. A great show. The crowd's funny. And the stand's great. So thank you. Shout out to the stand. Shout out to Natalie Cuomo. Honestly, like, even being on my show, like, I know that you're so busy and you're like touring the whole world. And so sometimes people are like, oh, I'm so busy. You're like, no, Chanel, I have time. Like, you're my girl. Like, I love you. Like, I'll do it. You know what I mean? Like, I love how humble you are about everything. So keep it up.
Sweet.
That's one thing. One advice I could actually give to anyone is just try to be as humble as possible. I think that is, that will take you a long way.
Stay humble.
Stay humble.
Did you say your Instagram handle?
Oh, yeah. At Chanel Omari.
Okay, cool. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. Watch the video episode on Patreon, patreon.com/Natalie Cuomo. All the video is on Patreon. Thank you guys so much. I love you. Bye.